Have you ever wondered if the very care meant to protect you could, at a certain age, begin to harm you instead? We live in an age of endless tests, constant monitoring, and medical vigilance. But after 70, that same vigilance can turn against us. Sometimes the greatest act of wisdom isn't adding another checkup. It's knowing which ones to let go. Because medicine is not just about discovering what's wrong with us. It's about preserving what's still right within us. Today, we uncover 5 medical tests that may no longer serve you and might even cost you the peace you've earned. When we reach the later seasons of life, we often imagine that more testing means more safety, more knowledge, more control. But there comes a time when wisdom must replace reflex. After 70, the body does not obey the same rules that governed it at 40 or 50. It has earned its own rhythm, its own balance, and its own vulnerabilities. The very procedures that once helped us may begin to unsettle that balance. This is not a call to reject medicine. It is a call to refine it, to know when to act, and when restraint becomes the higher form of care. True medicine, after all, is not about doing more, but about doing what matters most. When I look at our culture of health, I see a paradox. We have extended life, yet we have not always deepened the art of living. Many who are past 70 find themselves caught in an endless web of tests, scans, and follow-ups, each promising reassurance, yet often delivering confusion and anxiety. A routine, full-body scan, performed without clear reason, may reveal harmless findings that lead to unnecessary biopsies or treatments. A cancer screening that once saved lives in youth may, in age, offer little gain and much distress. These are not failures of science. They are failures of perspective. Science provides tools, wisdom decides when to use them. The physician and the patient must now become partners in discernment. Not every abnormality demands pursuit. Not every discovery deserves a cure. The greater question must be, will this test change my life in a way that adds meaning or peace? The answer often reveals itself in silence, not urgency. The goal after 70 is not perfection of laboratory numbers, but preservation of dignity, independence, and joy. A blood test that leads to a new pill might reduce a number, but increase fatigue. A strict glucose target might lower sugar, but steal appetite for life. The pursuit of precision can quietly replace the pursuit of happiness. There is great courage in saying no. To decline an unnecessary test is not denial, it is discernment. It is the same courage that accepts that longevity without vitality is not victory. The aging body asks for gentleness, not aggression. It asks for understanding, not intrusion. When you honor that, you reclaim ownership of your own health, your own story. Medicine should serve your life, not the other way around. So when you next sit before a doctor, do not ask, "What more can we test?" Ask instead, "What will truly help me live well?" That is the question that opens the door to wise care, to peace, to gratitude. The measure of good health in later years is not the number of checkups you undergo, but the moments of freedom and meaning you preserve. That, to me, is the true promise of medicine, not the extension of time, but the elevation of life. There is a quiet revolution that must take place within the heart of modern medicine, a shift from the obsession with longevity to the reverence for quality of life. As we grow older, particularly beyond 70, The question is no longer how long we can live, but how well. For decades, we have celebrated discovery, technology, and the relentless pursuit of diagnosis. But there is a moment, a threshold, where wisdom whispers louder than machines. It tells us that restraint can be as healing as intervention, that peace of mind is as vital as any prescription, and that not every checkup leads to better health. Some, in truth, lead us away from it. We are taught to believe that vigilance equals safety. Yet the constant surveillance of one's body through unnecessary tests can erode confidence and replace calm with anxiety. After 70, certain screenings, once beneficial, may now provoke harm. The body has changed, and so must our approach. A scan meant to find disease might instead find harmless irregularities that invite invasive procedures. A cancer screening may uncover slow, growing forms that would never threaten life, but the treatments may steal comfort, energy, and peace. Each decision must therefore weigh not just the possibility of disease, but the certainty of the life it might disrupt. Medicine must rediscover its humanity. Science gives us data, but it is compassion that gives us wisdom. A patient of 70 is not merely a collection of cells and organs, but a lifetime of experiences, relationships, and meaning. The goal now should not be the pursuit of every abnormal number, but the preservation of spirit and independence. This requires courage, not the courage to endure another test, but the courage to question whether the test is needed at all. The greater act of healing may sometimes be found in choosing not to act. We live in a time where health is often measured by how many checkups one has undergone, how closely numbers are monitored, how aggressively diseases are pursued. But real health, especially in the later chapters of life, is measured by something more subtle. The ability to awaken each day with clarity, to move freely, to think kindly, to feel connected. These are not found in laboratory reports. They are cultivated by balance, simplicity, and trust. To age well is to learn the art of letting go, of unnecessary treatments, of needless fears, of the illusion of control. It is not surrender, it is wisdom. It is the recognition that life's value is not extended by every medical intervention, but deepened by mindful living. The true physician, and indeed the wise patient, knows that health is not merely the absence of disease, but the presence of wholeness. In that awareness lies the truest medicine, one that heals not just the body, but the human spirit that animates it. There comes a moment in every human life when the pursuit of health must transform from conquest to harmony. After 70, the body becomes less a battlefield and more a landscape, one that has weathered storms, grown seasons of strength, and carries the quiet wisdom of survival. Yet our medical culture often treats it as a problem to be solved rather than a story to be honored. We have been conditioned to equate more testing with better care, but that belief in advanced years can betray us. The goal is no longer to search endlessly for what might go wrong, but to nurture what still goes beautifully right. In this later stage of life, every decision about health should begin with purpose. Ask not what can be found, but what will this knowledge give me? Too often, unnecessary checkups, routine scans, repetitive screenings, obsessive lab work offer numbers without meaning and interventions without benefit. A full body scan may expose harmless irregularities that send a person into a spiral of fear and follow-up procedures. A cancer test might reveal a growth so slow it would never alter the rhythm of life, yet the treatment could steal months of comfort. When medicine forgets to measure its impact on joy and peace, it risks becoming a burden rather than a blessing. Science has gifted us powerful tools, but tools require wisdom in their use. Precision without perspective is danger disguised as progress. The art of healing lies not in the quantity of what we do, but in the quality of what we choose. After 70, that choice must honor the person, not just the disease. The human body at that age is delicate but dignified. It responds best to kindness and prudence, not to the relentless probing of machines. It is time to shift from intervention to intention, from reaction to reflection. What is health, if not the freedom to live meaningfully each day? No test can measure that. No number can define it. It exists in the laughter shared with family, in the sunlight on one's face, in the quiet satisfaction of a morning walk. These are the true markers of vitality. Yet they are often ignored in favor of lab results. We must remember that medicine's highest purpose is to serve life, not to dominate it. So, to every person who has reached 70 and beyond, let this be your reminder. You have earned the right to choose care that uplifts rather than alarms. Ask your doctor not only what a test might find, but whether it will help you live better. The courage to ask that question is the truest form of wisdom. Because in the end, longevity is not the triumph living with grace, awareness, and freedom is. That is the ultimate expression of health, and it is the legacy of a life lived with understanding, not fear. In the final analysis, health is not measured by the number of tests we pass, but by the quality of moments we live. At 70 and beyond, the goal is not to live forever. It is to live wisely, gently, fully. Let your choices reflect the freedom you've earned, not the fear of what might happen. Because the true miracle of medicine isn't found in machines or reports. It's found in the human being who chooses to live with purpose. And that, my friends, is the greatest test of all